This David and Celeste situation is really dire.
Can somebody tell me how David not locked up yet? I'm still lost. Bro should have been locked up. We solved this case 3 months ago. The police just, man.
And we just got some bombshell new information.
We solved this the next day.
That I think changes this entire case. And honestly, I'll be real with y'all. If this case isn't solved within 30 days, if the perpetrators, whether it's David or whoever committed the murder of Celeste, if it's not solved within 30 days, I fear it will never be solved. And honestly, the worst part about all of this too is knowing deep down inside that if Celeste was murdered anywhere else other than Los Angeles, her murder would have been solved. Her perpetrator would have been in jail. A trial would have been starting by now. But because she was murdered in LA and they're absolute nincompoops, right? They're idiots. LAPD is lazy. They don't solve murders. They don't solve crimes at all. There's nothing funny about this situation, but this new bombshell update from LAPD would really make you chuckle in a sinister and sad way. LAPD just released a bombshell, an update on the case, okay? After discovering Celeste dismembered, right, limbs tore apart from her body, wrapped up in a trash bag in the trunk of a Tesla,
crazy.
LAPD has finally said, okay, right, after months of investigating this, we are suspecting that this was a homicide. Excuse me? If you've been following this case, you know that LAPD has literally refused to consider this a homicide. They have investigated every other angle other than a homicide and a murder. And you ask yourself, why? Like, idiots, idiots, bruh. They even tried to get off that this could have been a drug overdose. And
her body is dismembered. She was found in the back of this man's trunk. I'm confused, bro. Like, what more do y'all need to see?
And try to conceal her body. Like, what?
That's what I'm saying.
Where would that line of logic lead? This kid had an overdose in the home that she shared with us. We feel terrified that maybe we could get blamed for contributing to the delinquency of a minor. At the very least, we get condemned socially. At the very most, we get a delinquency to a minor charge and probably do about 1 or 2 years in prison. Cool. Now, they are faced with that reality. And we believe that they would trade that 1 or 2 years of social, like, condemning with, hey, let's just take the body, dismember the body, chop it up a little bit, right? Whip the limbs from her torso, put her in a trash bag, throw her in the back of not back, because the trunk of a Tesla is at the front. Throw her in the trunk of a Tesla. And then what? Her family would never ask about her. 20, 30 years go by, she's dead. The family would never wonder where she is. The family would just be perfectly okay with never hearing from their daughter again. You must have, at some point, somebody would have came looking for her. Somebody. And if it was a drug overdose and you chop up the limbs and wait, let's say a year or two, and the body fully decomposed, or God forbid, you guys like go down the other route, which is like y'all done add like her to a fire, y'all done burn her and cremate her. Now there is no trace of what the cause of death is. All they know is one of you guys, right, dismembered his body and burned it and cremated it. And now you're looking at a murder investigation. Why would anybody choose that reality over what it would have been if it was a drug overdose, which is delinquency of a minor, social condemning, but for the most part, you're not spending the rest of your life in jail.
You're saying that there is another suspect, other than David, who the LAPD has its sights set on with respect to what happened to Celeste before, during, and after her death, correct?
Correct.
Welcome to the Two Angry Men podcast. Mark,
TMZ got a podcast?
In big trouble. We now know, and I can give you this 100%. Although the medical examiner
look like New Age Frank Ocean or something. I don't know, bro. I don't want to say he did it, but just look at him. Do y'all think he did it?
Give you this 100%. Although the medical examiner has not yet determined cause of death, nor has the toxicology report been given over to the LAPD, the LAPD Robbery Homicide Unit is viewing the death of Celeste Rivas as a homicide, and David is a suspect. And he is a
David is not the only suspect.
And David is not the only suspect. But what I am told is that at least one other suspect It's not necessarily in connection to the murder. It's in connection to dismembering the body. And I think this all has to do with a mysterious trip to Santa Barbara in the middle of the night last spring. And I got details. What do you got?
David had a 9-month head start. The private investigator said Celeste was murdered since February.
Gosh.
9 months to cover all tracks as a multimillionaire. Excuse me? Bruh, there's probably not a shred of evidence left, man. 9 months to cover
I'm trying to figure out what made them looking at Tesla. Like, how do you just come up on that body in a Tesla? That's what I want to know. Like,
to think about what happened, go over what you did, recover what you did, cover what you did. Oh, no. It's over with, bruh. All right, the only way they would ever find out exactly what happened is if one of these weirdo anime watching, obsessed gore kids who's involved in this murder as well, if they snitch. But the police is able to get snitches to tell because they got something on them. Hey, bruh, we'll let you get off on this other shooting you did if you tell us what happened right here and cooperate against David. But these ain't street dudes, bruh. They don't got an array of crimes for you to get them on. No, these is weirdo anime watching weirdos. They don't got nothing. And they holding it down more than the street dudes. A group of street dudes would have had an informant by now, letting them know exactly. These kids is holding it down and they ain't telling because of course there's multiple people involved. Of course they brought the body to an isolated desert to dismember it, rip the limbs apart from the torso, and put it in the trash bag. And I believe the only reason why they even brought it back to that house, because when they raided that house, what they found chemicals that was used to disintegrate a body. The plan was bring that body back.
So my whole purpose, that's my whole point. Why weren't people arrested or something a long time ago if they already discovered all this stuff?
Use those chemicals at a large scale to remove all evidence this body even existed.
Okay, so not only that, but you know how we've almost got whiplash on this story from, I think you were the one who had said that all of your sources had dried up like very, very early on this, and you were actually quite surprised.
Not anymore.
And the reason for that, by the way, my surmise, wild speculation, they not only got the records that support what you're saying is 100%, that he took a trip to Santa Barbara County, but they now also, and you may have reported this, I'm not in the weeds on the TMZ feed, but they've got his social media and have tied up social media with some of the trips, and they've got cell phone records that they have poured over, and they have triangulated this to the point where it's almost it's eerie. I saw this 10 years ago on another murder case that I had, but when it was in the infancy stages, they've got a chart at LAPD that you would not believe. They've got this thing down to a timeline that's almost by the minutes triangulated to the location, if you can believe that. And it's not just one source. When I say triangulated, it's media, social media, cell phone, Tesla, other.
And that's the thing. You drove if they did this in a Tesla, that was so stupid. Like, so stupid. That Tesla gonna have everything they need to find on there. I ain't gonna lie. The Tesla might be their real downfall. If they did a lot of this in a Tesla, that might be their actual downfall, for real.
And all I'll say is other kind of GPS tracking devices, if you will. And it's really, I used to joke, or my father used to joke, LAPD is lost and presumed destroyed. They actually have elevated their game, and this is quite a feat of investigation so far.
That's fascinating. So let me tell you what we know, because it aligns with what you just said, that in the spring, David took a trip to a very remote area of Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night and spent several hours
Man
there.
got the same LaCroix drink.
We have also been told, yes, there is another suspect, but the suspect is is somebody they believe helped him dismember the body, because what we were told by multiple sources is they believe that more than one person dismembered the body. Now, I don't think they can conclude that just by looking at it. I mean, look, Jeffrey Dahmer dismembered a body completely, and he did it alone. So there's some reason they're saying he had help.
There's footage, as we already learned before, of somebody driving the Tesla back to the house and parked it. Now, the body was in the trunk when he drove that Tesla back to the crib. Police was able to positively identify and ID the person, but it's unclear whether or not they are a suspect as well. So, of course, multiple people were involved. You think a multimillionaire with a bunch of flunkies around, you think he's going to do his own bidding? Absolutely not. At all. No. And this is just not your average group of kids. No, these are, and again, I say kids very loosely because David is like 22, 23 years old. So these are adults, but these are not a group of people who are just normal people. No, these are people who are obsessive when it comes to gore. In that Discord, they were sharing gore videos of folks being murdered and killed. So people who are that obsessive with gore, of course they know how to discard a body. Of course they have watched endless true crime and know how to cover their tracks. I knew for a fact, after this new report, that we were dealing with somebody who may have did this before, right? I don't think this is their first time. Because when TMZ and the police dropped a new update earlier today, that the body was apparently frozen. Like, the manner in which the body was frozen wasn't just a normal man. No, it was like a permafrost method. The body was frozen, right, in some type of like permafrost method. And because it was frozen in that method, the cause of death, they no longer know. They can't get the cause of death because it was frozen in a manner in which will conceal the cause of death.
Wow.
So hence, them trying to figure out, was this a homicide? Was this a strangulation? Was this a drug overdose? They can no longer discover it. Even creating more legal challenges now when it comes to prosecuting people involved.
Bro, because then they say they found like a freezer big enough to fit a human inside or something in one of his apartments or something like that. I think I did hear something about that today.
Whoever did this had a lengthy experience in doing this, and they've done it before. Because the average person ain't thinking about this. Hey, yo, if you permafrost the body, it will conceal the
and you gotta think about it. You can't look it up. That's the thing. If you look it up, that's a paper trail. They can find that. You gotta literally come out the dome with this on, bro. Like, nobody can look this up. If you look this up, it's over with.
Oh, huh?
Oh, bro.
Bro, I'm terrified, man. Because there's somebody out there, bro, who got a lust for blood.
Some major developments in the Celeste Rivas death. TMZ has learned that her body had been frozen, and when it was found, it was still partially frozen in the back of David's car, and it was in such bad condition that we are told the medical examiner may never be able to establish the cause of death. So here's what we know. When the body was found, it was in terrible condition. It had been decapitated, the torso was intact, the limbs had been removed, and they were cut up severely. The body was partially frozen in the trunk, and this is really important because remember, the body had been sitting there for days before it was finally impounded and then the body discovered. And it was still, the body parts were still partially frozen. So we are told that when the body first went to the medical examiner's office in early September, it was listed as an apparent homicide, but that was just from what seemed obvious, that the body was cut up into pieces. The medical examiner is having a really tough time right now trying to figure out what the cause of death was. We are told it is likely the cause of death will go undetermined because of the condition of the body and the fact that it was frozen and the fact that it was cut up the way it was. So we have told you that we know David is a suspect, and even if it is undetermined, the LAPD can still move forward, as could the LA County District Attorney. The LAPD is viewing this as a homicide. David is a suspect. We know this.
I'm convinced we dealing with a serial killer here, man. Whoever did
Like, what is going
they a
on?
serial killer, bro. Think about you and
What
your
is
group of
going
friends.
on?
Are y'all capable of this?
Why would somebody answer that question, Flacco? Flacco is low key the post. Man,
Are y'all
Flacco's crazy.
capable of concealing and
Flacco's
dealing with
crazy.
a dead body in this regard for months? First off, I don't even know any one of my friends who would drive in a car alone with a dead body, bro. We is punks, man. We punks, bro. Fam. Yo, having to see my friend in his casket and be his pallbearer, that was hard enough for me.
Man.
I can't even imagine, bro, having to deal move the body from this place to that place, dismember it, cut it. Oh, nah, bro. Nah, y'all got it, bro. Y'all got it, man. And LAPD, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves, bro. Waiting months to say, okay, yeah, we think it's a homicide now. You think? Let me tell you something. Yo, LAPD is so unserious, bro. Crimes don't get solved in LA. I'm telling you right now. Yo, if you want to commit, LA is the perfect place for criminals to go. Crimes don't get solved in LA. I know people who drive around LA, no driver license, no insurance, no registrations, no nothing. Police will pull them over and not even like do the justice by taking them in, bro, or towing a car.
Bro, you should be happy, Flacco. You don't we want your people to go to like Flacco crazy, man. Hey, y'all let me know what y'all think. I didn't know some of this. This is crazy. I ain't gonna lie. If David found a way to get off with this though, like, how does his career look after that? Like, do people still trust him? Ooh, we'll be back with another update when it comes.
I'm fuck with.
I always know it's kick back, run up on me, back, get back, 911. Somebody son did die, we need police on dispatch. Traffic.